Yeah, so back to girls basketball, or so you coach primarily girls, or you ever coach boys? Or
Yeah. So initially coming in, I was really stoked about the opportunity. I didn't ask about girls or boys because it was AAU. I assumed boys, but knew because my old coach has a past with both girls and boys, it could be either. And when I found out it was girls, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of a sigh came out. And it was like, you know what, this is still gonna be fun though, because I already viewed it as more of an open template. But after doing it for a while, I actually prefer coaching girls over boys. And there's like a lot of little things I'm noticing that make it that way. Like I feel like if you prefer just coaching boys, or if you have a preference, you might not really love the game by itself. You know what I mean? Because to me, boys, just even in their demeanor and the way they're raised, like I have boys and girls as far as kids go. There are exceptions to what I'm about to say, but generally speaking, every parent more or less agrees on this, and they tell you when one of their kids is an exception to the rule. So they agree with it. But boys are lazy. Girls show more initiative. And then you factor in boys have every opportunity in the world to pick up a ball in any sport, go anywhere where a sport is played, and you will run into enough other boys to start a small game or have a real game, whether it's 5-on-5 or 9-on-9 baseball games. Like you literally will just pick up a game. Only the elite girl with a special set of confidence and probably like the most badass father you've ever seen has the guts or the gumption to walk onto a court, see 2 full court games going on, and just walk on and say, I got next, and not expect any pushback from the boys. Or if a boy does give pushback, they push back and actually start calling people out. Like, no, I already see 5 guys on the court right now that I'll beat. Like, I'm playing whether you like it or not. That is very rare. So with that being said, the girl comes in ready to work, ready for business. Like when I first do introductions with teams, I'll ask an entire team, what's the strongest part of your game? What's the weakest part of your game? Just to see if the first time we met, if I agree with that by the end, or if I disagree by the end. By the start of the next season, I ask the same question to see if it's the same thing that's an issue, or to see if we've evolved. And if it's the same thing, we're going to get past it that year. But it's also to see if you're objective. The other thing it does is when I first meet people, I still have yet to ever get this as an answer. But with girls, I see this more often. Work is a skill set. So when I ask people what they're great at, the person who's the jack of all trades is usually my hardest worker. But they don't know what to say is their best skill. It's like, no, your best skill is probably playing defense, even if you're not my best defender, and you're my hardest worker. So therefore, I need you to go super hard, work your ass off, and you will be the one holding everybody accountable. And then my best player can lead with you because they don't have the same leaders as boys do. Like that's the biggest difference.
I think you also mentioned about the way that, from what you've seen, girls don't watch as much basketball on TV and don't play as much pickup. So I think the way you described it was they always look for the best. They don't take as many good shots. They're always looking for the best shot, like they're the Spurs.
Correct.
But boys are more likely to go off the cuff. They see all these crazy moves. So
when I coach the boys, I have to gain their trust, butt heads with them usually if I don't know them already, and then reel them in. With girls, it's the opposite. It's like I'm trying to open a gate almost. Like it's almost like a horse farm, right? And if you open the gate where the horses kind of just graze around, they don't necessarily leave. Right. And that's what's going on here. I'm trying to move them into a field and let them just run and be free.
You a farmer in a past life? I didn't know this. I didn't know that.
What's that?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about horses. That's a very
because
interesting
they're
point.
Taken care of. They're like, in actuality, surprisingly, I don't know if you knew this about me, but my grandfather was an Olympic horse trainer, and he was also a pentathlete. It's like the decathlon, but it's 5 events, and there's horse events involved in it. And he actually went to the Olympics for that. And he was actually one of the top 5 trainers in the world at one point, as far as horses go. And horses are like cats to some extent, or dogs. People away from them don't realize it. They're very smart. They're very personable. So there's no need to run from you like a cat or a dog. They come home.
That explains why you love cats. All right. It all makes sense. All right. All right.
So the girls, I unleash them. So like right now, my whole thing is freeing them, and all my guards that I've advanced, I'm teaching them how to get shots off the dribble, because all the elite girls that play for top 5 teams in the state, they have a girl that plays, I guess you would say, like a boy, which that's my biggest beef right now. You are an athlete. There are no girls and boys right now. So I need a dog. Girl, boy, doesn't matter. And girls don't, like, if I get 10 new girls, I'm lucky if I get 3 dogs. You see what I'm saying? And it's my job to create the dog. Let them know, no, it's okay to be aggressive. We're on a court. It's okay. You are an athlete. I'm not asking you to be whatever your vision of a woman is. I don't even know. Like, that's even up to you at this point. Like, it's not up to me. I raised just my daughters. But as far as this goes, I need an athlete. So I'll give you an example of something that I saw, and I'm not going to say names because you might end up famous one day, and I don't need kids' names out there and things like that because I've already said the name of the school. But I have had this instance happen in the last 4 years where I had a very shy player who was one of my most talented players, like the Kyrie Irving thing we talk about. She will be a top 3 driller in any drill I put out there. But when we get on the court, you would never guess it, and she's a little passive. She got into a fight at school one day. Now she's a dog.
Sometimes you need that moment to bring it out of you. Because you know, when we were growing up, they'd be like, yeah, basketball's not a contact sport. Football is a contact sport. I'm like, no, basketball is a contact sport. Football is a violent sport. there's a lot of contact. Yeah, it's violent. Boxing, UFC, that's violence. Okay, football is just
that's a great
violence.
example, though, because for a boy, that's what it is relatively. Because not every boy can step into football and realize, oh, I have all these pads on. And they get scared of getting hit at first. So they need that pop.
Right.
To, oh, yeah, the pads got me. I trust this now. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
That's what it's like with the girls when taking contact through the lane or trying to get your own shot. Like right now with all my guards, we're hammering home. I'm teaching them hesitations and how to find a good shot. Because it's like, yeah, points off assists are great. Like this past year, I had the greatest problem you ever saw. And that was I didn't have a leading scorer over 10 points a game. But I had 4 starters averaging between 9.3 and 10 points a game, with the 5th one at a high 8.5 or higher. Do you know how awesome that is when you're arguably a top 20 team? When you're top 5, I need that. But if I can add in a 20-point score, not make one of them one, but if I can add in that and still keep it balanced, then it's gold. You see what I'm saying? Like, but this year, that's how I know we're getting somewhere. It was like, okay, we had on a team of 10, we had 8 different leading scorers throughout the year. And the highest score was 9.8 in the starting lineup, with the lowest score at like 8.9. Do you know how unguardable and how unscoutable a team you are when you can have that kind of balance? That's like Villanova.